Okay. Okay, great. Okay. We're going to begin with today's session. That is that is on how to find top universities abroad for your profile. And this session will be taken by our co-founder, that is Mr. Jaideep Gurujala. Okay. Okay, guys, we have these three memberships in our organization. You instantly become a bronze member on registering on our website, that is ubicrat.com, and you get the following detail listed over here: facilities. And if you upgrade to the silver membership, you get YouTube Pro University recommendation, smart application tracking, more mock tests, and sectional tests. Then, if you upgrade to the gold membership, you get expert university recommendation and other facilities that are the application process, and all of them are guided by our experts. Okay. Moving forward, guys, we have this free profile evaluation done by our experts for you all. And in this, many parameters are kept in mind, like your academic profile, course of study, future aspiration, your interests, moreover, any other requirements that you put in. Okay. And at the end of this evaluation, a recommendations report is given to which is made by our experts, and this is a personalized report. Okay, and all of the doubt clearance is done for you from A to Z, like shortlisting, applications, scholarships. Any doubt clearance that you require is given to you. You can go and enroll for this on our website, that is ubgrad.com. Okay, moving forward, we provide free IELTS live classes that goes in from Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 8:30. Of there are online classes and Duolingo classes as well. So that goes on from Monday to Friday, 6:30 to 7:30. They are online as well. Okay, guys, you can enroll in these classes if you still haven't done that, and you can enroll in them from going on our website, that is ubgrad.com. Okay, moving forward, guys, we're starting these free GRE live classes that'll also go from Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 9:30 every day, and it will be a 2-month course, guys. So please do begin practicing with us for GRE, and it'll be beginning on Monday. Okay. Um, Moving forward, please go on our website and avail application fee waivers and many more elite features along with expert counseling. And you can reach us now. All of the contact details are given on our website, that is ubograd.com. Okay. And if you want any kind of facility, all of the facilities are provided to you if you want to study abroad. Okay. Now, our co-founder, that is Mr. Jaideep Gurujala, is an alumnus of BITS Pilani and IIM Kozhikode, and he was awarded gold medal for his academic excellence at IIM Kozhikode. He worked with the prestigious firms like BCG, that is Boston Consulting Group, and educational initiatives, that is EI, post his studies. Okay, guys, he will be taking your webinar for today, and as you all know, that the webinar is on how to find top universities under your profile. Okay, for your profile. Okay, and guys, these are a few reviews that we've received on our website. Okay, I'll just hand over the session to sir now. Have a great session, guys, and we have a surprise for you in the end, so please do stay with us. Okay.
Hi,
Good,
Supriya.
good evening, sir.
Good evening. So yeah, I'll take over from here. Right?
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
So good evening, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me and see me well. So I'll also share my screen. If you can stop sharing it. Yep. Thank you. Okay. Yes. So I hope you guys can see my screen. Maybe great. Guys, so I would want to keep this more engaging for today. Okay. So it'd be great if you guys can start off with saying just what exactly are you looking to pursue your masters in or higher education in, basically, right? So it'll be good if I can get some answers. Country and course, that's a good start every time I do in the webinars. If you can just post masters in what and what country are you looking to go for, so that is going to give me a sense of the type of students that I have in the session, and maybe I can be a little bit more specific about things when I talk about it. Okay, Akhilesh, so CS computer science in US. Okay, please do answer in the chat. Okay, MBA in entrepreneurship. Information systems, okay. Okay, Maria. So I see quite a few US. Okay. Business analytics aspirations, okay. Data science, okay. Country also, Ashwin, it will be helpful for me. US, Banu, okay. Canada in computer science, okay, my three. Finance in USA, Canada, okay. Okay. Great. So agriculture, international transportation, and logistic in Germany. Okay, Nagaraj. That's being very specific. Electrical, embedded systems, or data science. Okay, Shaikh. So it's like the core electrical, or you're going for computers based data science. Finance, MBA, and marketing, entrepreneur. USA. Great. Okay, guys. So that's fairly good answers. I'm happy. Okay. Computer vision, molecular biology. Good. So I find people talking about US and Canada partially, and one person for Germany. So I don't see anything for UK, Australia, at least as of now. If you have anyone with that interest, it'll be good if you can post it as well. Cool. Great, guys. So I just would be asking a few questions here and there. Please try to put it in the chat so that I also understand what exactly are you looking at, what exactly are you thinking, because I just want to keep it more engaging today rather than just being a one way sort of a webinar. So just introducing myself as what Supriya has already introduced. So I am Jaydeep, one of the co-founders of Ubergrad. So alumnus of BITS, and I am worked with BCG as a management consultant. So I quit to start my own company and joined Ubergrad as co-founder. Mr. Ravindra is also an alumnus of BITS and I am. So he's also one of the co-founders of Ubergrad. So he's a serial entrepreneur and he's also working along with me at Ubergrad. So about Ubergrad, we've started in 2017. So far we've partnered with 1,000+ universities across countries like US, UK, Canada, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, and almost helped 8,000+ students, to get admits and visas. And we are rated 4.8 plus, in our all social media, Google reviews, etc. That's about our track record. And how do we help as such? So we do help students with test preparation. So we have online classes. We do GRE, IELTS, and Duolingo live classes for free. We also have self-paced courses. We have mock tests that you can take. We also have data-backed recommendation engine that we have built using machine learning algorithms. We do help with the shortlisting of universities, application process, visa process, SOPs, LORs, resumes. A lot of stuff we are doing it for free also. As a Silver member, also you can access quite a few stuff on your own in our portal. If which my team will, I'll also show you few features, but you'll also get to know if you explore yourself over grad or take our help on that part. So yeah, about our experienced team that we have been, working with a lot of students and universities over here. So let's get into the webinar part. So what exactly are we going to do today? As what we talked about in the agenda, I'm going to help you out understand what type of universities you can look at and how to select them, right? So sort of, there's no fixed answer that I can give for each one of you, obviously. For that, I'll also tell you for each one of you personally, we can help you for free in terms of, understanding the universities and shortlist of your universities for your specific profile. I'm going to get there also. But in this session, more in terms of giving you a direction or sort of, helping you understand so that you can, improve your profile, work on it. Number one. Number two, understand the type of universities and courses you can apply for so that you get good admits from the top universities. At the end, I'll obviously be open to answer your questions if you have any Q&A. In middle also, if you have any questions, I would be glad to answer. But most probably, I would not pick it up unless it's something that's relevant to a piece of thing that I'm talking at that point of time. I would rather keep it to the end if it's something I believe just disturbs the flow of the topic that I'm discussing. Right. So we get to this one. So what standard parameters do universities use to assess a student's profile? So you tell me, let's say if you're applying to a university abroad, okay, what are the key parameters? As in like, what do a university look in a student to assess if the student is fit enough to join their program in the particular university or not? So I would want you guys to post it in the chat. From whatever you believe are the things that would be critical in looking at you as an applicant and then university decides it. Please give me some answers in the chat. Again, repeating the question, like what parameters or what aspects of a student's application would they look at to judge if the student deserves an admit or a rejection? Okay, Akhilesh, you're talking about GPA, resume, SOP, LOR, GRE, IELTS, or TOEFL. Great, that's a good start. Okay, I've seen. Okay, CGPA, SOPs, LOR, GPA, English proficiency, LOR, leadership positions or projects undertaken in the past. Okay, Vidhi. Uh, that is something I will, not 100% agree with. It depends on the programs you're applying for, but fairly a good point to talk about. What about others? Please give me some more answers. It could be something same as what they said. I just want to understand what you guys believe, so that sometimes it could be an eye-opening thing, or maybe I can clarify a few of the aspects that people sort of not understand it. Research papers, internships, fair enough. They also can add some value to your profile. CGPA, work experience. Which country is better for coming? Okay, Bala. So I'll get there about that part. Maybe I'll keep it for now. Bachelor's, university, CGPA, SOP, LOR, research papers, community work, extracurricular activities. Okay, great. So I think I can see some answers fairly, aligned with few things which I think most of you would also agree with, but few things which I think I will elaborate a bit based on your answers. So the first part, as what all of you have said, I would say your academics, right? What do I mean by academics? What exactly have you done in your undergraduation? Right, because it matters a lot. Say, let's say I'm trying to apply for Masters of Science in Computer Science in one university, let's say in USA. Typically, most of the universities very, very clearly write, especially the top ranked ones, more or less would definitely mention that you should have done certain basic courses in your undergraduation, like data structures and algorithms, object oriented programming, otherwise operating systems, database management systems. Typically, they would expect few of the coursework to be done before you come for your masters. So that's why obviously these coursework are only seen in computer science or IT in Indian bachelor. So relevance of what you've done in your undergraduate is going to really make an impact of what kind of course you're looking for. So they definitely will look for it. And let's say if I'm a mechanical engineer and if I apply for it, ideally they would either reject your application if that university is very strict on it. Some universities are not very strict, but they would give you a conditional offer clearly mentioning that you have to do extra coursework once you join there, which would include these basic courses. Then comes your university of undergraduation. Obviously, if I come from an IIT, at NIT, at BITS, or other tier one colleges, like let's say the state universities within University of Mumbai, Delhi University, at JNTU in Hyderabad, etc. There are obviously Anna University in Chennai. They have the little bit of reputation, obviously. So if you come from those universities versus obviously then comes tier two, tier three. There's obviously the IITs, NITs, BITS would carry weight, and then comes these universities. So where exactly are you coming from is also going to play a small role for sure. Then comes your CGPA. I think everyone would agree with it. There's no fixed formula of what is a good CGPA, right? A university, let's say Arizona State University would say anything above 8 is something they look for in computer science, for example. Maybe you'll also find universities like Wichita State University, which says 7 and plus is good for me because that's the type of profiles that they get to select from. So higher the CGPA is always better for all the universities. There's no doubt about it. It's all about them choosing the better candidates within the pool. So depending on the university's expectation, you can understand what's a good CGPA. But anything below 7, I think it'll start making it hard for you to really look for good ranked universities. So I'm not saying you'll not get, but obviously anything above 7 is much more easier than less than 7 is what I would say the basic rule of thumb. Backlogs, what I mean by backlogs is attempts. I might have had a backlog, but I've cleared it now, but still it is counted. If I have 0, 1, 2, 3, not a problem. It's seen as fairly good academic profile. But if I have 7, 8, 10, yes, obviously that's a problem because a good number of universities do restrict on that part. Or some universities would outright reject even if your CGPA is 9 and all other parameters are good. Right? Anything above 10, you start, find it harder and harder to find universities which would accept it. Okay, Balasi, I'll answer your questions on the universities or countries good for MS in computer science and the 15 education. It's absolutely okay, except US, all the countries have no problem, and also for US also quite a few universities do accept. But I'll discuss that in depth later. Right, next part is your exam scores, as what all of you have said. English language proficiency, that's ELP, IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo. I would say this is more like clearing a cutoff for you. Like if they say 7 is the cutoff for ASU computer science, as long as you score 7, it's same. Just because a candidate got 8 in IELTS or 115 in TOEFL instead of 105, which is cutoff, for example, the university will not give any special advantage. And also, if a university accepts IELTS, TOEFL, and Duolingo, as long as you clear their cutoffs, there is no judgment in terms of whether you have taken IELTS or TOEFL or Duolingo. Right? So Look at the universities that accept particular exams. Obviously, IELTS and TOEFL, 99.99% of universities accept it. You will never go wrong with either of it. Duolingo obviously has a very limited acceptance, but it's the easiest and most affordable exam. So students have their own reasons to look for Duolingo. So if you take it, you have to obviously compromise on the number of universities you can look for and choose the best you can get within that accepting list. But just because you have taken Duolingo, there is no difference if a university accepts both IELTS and Duolingo. Then aptitude tests, GRE and GMAT. GMAT is more recommended for MBA schools or MBA courses. But for engineering or STEM courses, you would see GRE being a critical thing, especially for US. You'll not see that being a very big thing for other countries in general, leaving the top universities in Canada, UK, or rest of the Europe, I would say. But also in US, quite a few universities are waiving off GRE or making it optional. So this part, again, if you have it, it's going to be a good point to have. But if you don't have it, it's not a deal breaker if a university is waiving it off for now. Then comes your research and projects. So obviously, if you are in your undergraduation, the quality of projects and research you have done, that can actually impact your overall profile while being evaluated, right? So the skills that you've learned, let's say I've done a project on machine learning. So based on some data that I've taken in, real life example, I've implemented a couple of algorithms and I've been able to predict it, and I'm able to publish the paper. I have published it in some international and national journal. It's going to be a very good impact on your profile. Let's say if I just did some 4 or 5 projects for the sake of doing it, the quantity doesn't matter. I'll keep re-insisting on this again and again. Always quality wins over quantity. There's no point in having 5 projects or 3 papers in local college journals, right? If you can even get 1 or 2 of them in good places, which is, I mean, obviously it's not that easy to get even one publication. Obviously, most of you must be knowing. So it's all about getting them in the right place and doing the right projects that will help in your master's. So I come from mechanical engineering and my project was in core engineering, but now I want to do my master's in computer science. Your project will have limited, impact on your profile. Yes, you've done a project, you have maybe published a paper, but what skills can you transfer from there to your master's in computer science, right? Unless you have done some specific coding even for your project, then you can transfer that. But so you have to see the relevance. But if you have a relevant project and can highlight the skills, also talk about working with a mentor from, let's say, IISc, right, or IIT professors who have a good research exposure. If you could work as an intern for research under them for a few months, that's going to also add value. Then work experience, internships and full-time jobs. Again, I'll insist on the word relevant. Quantity is not important, quality is important. I worked as a software developer in Google for a year, or I worked as an intern for GSOC, Google Summer Code. It's going to add a lot more value in your profile if you're applying for computer science. Instead of saying that I worked in 10 unknown startups, that I can just say I worked. I'm not saying working in startups will not add value, but what skill set have you shown over there? And is there anyone who can recommend, to show the quality of work you've done is something that they would put a value on, right? I am not talking about extracurriculars here. I will again insist on this point that let's say I have done a lot of community work, as some of you said, or maybe I have done, I was student leader, or I was part of my extra, festival committees, cultural festivals, sports festival, etc. Would not add any significant value if you're applying for masters in STEM courses. What I mean by that is business analytics or computer science or engineering or basic sciences, life sciences. If you're talking about management, yes, they can have an impact. Let's say some of you said, look at leadership or, management, or partially to an extent, analytics also, it doesn't make a difference. So I won't put that over here. But I would again say, just don't run after the certificates of extracurricular activities just because you feel it's going to add value to your resume or profile. It's going to have a very negligible impact, is what I can strongly say, if you are looking for more of these courses that I'm talking about. But all of this together should really, be also communicated in SOP and LOR. As some of you pointed out, SOP and LORs are definitely important, but they are what they are, because you cannot write that I've interned with Google or I've worked with a professor with 100 research papers published in international journals if you really haven't done that. So there is no way your SOP, LOR can be done anywhere better than what your profile actually is. But you also have to make sure you craft your SOPs and get your LORs from the right people so that you can elevate whatever you have. So you should not undersell yourself, right? Let's say I'm very good candidate, but I'm not portraying it with my SOP and not getting the right LORs. Definitely, it's not going to help you, right? At the same time, irrespective of how much you can pay, how much you can sit and write, if you don't have the real meat to talk about, then your SOP LOR is as good as what you are. So just understand there is value to draft SOP and LORs or reaching out to the right people to get the relevant LORs, right? But they can be as good as what you've really done in life so far. So you cannot overnight get a great SOP, right? It just has to happen over time. So just keep that in mind. Now I'll have a small quiz for you guys. So let's look at this. I need answers for this. Let's say I've put up two profiles here. If you can see it, student one, student two. Both of them have applied for Masters of Computer Science in ASU, Arizona State University. You tell me who would have gotten admit and who would have gotten reject. One of them only got admit, the other got reject. Okay, I'm clearly telling you for this scenario. So I would be interested to say you give me an answer in the chat. Is it student one or student two? Who would have gotten admit? Right. Obviously, the other got reject. I'm telling you upfront. So you tell me who would have gotten admit. Is it one or two? Okay, student one got an admit. Okay, I got three answers, so I would be okay. I see heavy inclination towards student one, but the last two answers, I think, okay. Okay. Uh, I think I get that. I think 70 to 80% of here, I only have less than 8, 9 answers. I would be happy if I can get few more, but are saying that it's student one. But I think you are wrong. The answer is student two got an admit in Arizona State University, right? The reason for this is very simple. I would tell you, ASU in particular for computer science as software engineering, they're a little bit specific about GRE criteria as well. So they generally have this as a 315 and above is what we get an understanding from a lot of students that we have seen. Is something like that critical point where if you score above 315, 317, 319, 322, 323, they fairly consider that your GRE score is good enough for their profile. And from there, I think having good CGPA, like anything above 8, I think is going to really give you a strong application candidature for this particular program. The other candidate, though the student had 9.3, comes from fairly good college in Bangalore and MIT, Nita Meenakshi. She had low GRE score. Everything else was great for her. The only reason I think that we were also having 50-50 opinion on her chances, but we got an rejection for this particular candidate for last intake that we did. So student two got an admit, though the CGPA is on the lower side, but you have to understand after a point 9 or 8.5 doesn't make a huge difference. Right. As I said, it has to be a good CGPA. Yes, if you have a 7, I think obviously this candidate might have gotten reject even student 2. But anything at a particular level, even GRE, if I get 330 or 335 out of 340, wouldn't make a difference in your profile of, based on just GRE. They would look at much more than that. For ASU computer science, as I said, the 315 is something I would put at that, sweet spot of having a good GRE score, anything above 315. And anything above 8, I think you have a strong candidature to apply for computer science, right? Just saying, for example. Okay, let's look at one more case. Here, I'll not tell you who, like, it could be both of them have admits, both of them have rejections, or, one of them got admitted, one of them. So it's University of Maryland, Baltimore County, again, ranked in top 150 in USA. Right, you have two profiles you can see. You tell me who would have gotten admit here this time. Okay, yeah, I'm asking again, who would have gotten admit in UMBC? Few more answers. Like I have 5, I think maybe I'll wait for 3, 4 more. Okay. Okay. I think the last one made people to pick student one, whoever picked student one. But the answer is student two got admitted, student one got rejected. Though the GRE score is good for student one, as I told you, the GRE score expected for UMBC. UMBC waived for last year intake, to be frank. But still, I've just put it. So that's why it matters what is the expectation of university. You cannot universally apply a rule. But as long as you clear the basic GRE score after a point, it doesn't make a difference. Okay. Student 2 got an admit, though the GRE score is on the lesser side, but that's fairly very good score for UMBC, to be frank. So as I said, after a point, doesn't matter what your GRE score is. If the university has a basic expectation, that's fairly cleared. IELTS expectation is 6.5. I think you've cleared it, and TOEFL 90 and above cleared it. The CGPA of student 2 was much higher. The student 1 is less than 7, right? As I said, less than 7, we are obviously going to struggle, with top universities. You have to understand the criteria of each universities and accordingly select one. So the answer for this, as I said, is student 2. Student 1 got a reject and student 2 got admitted into UMBC Computer Science. Again, as I said, the reason is the student 1 has very low CGPA as compared to student 2. And though the GRE is good, that is not good enough to cover for your weak CGPA. Right. So I think that's something I just wanted to show with a couple of examples. There's a lot more we can pull out if you just keep looking at students and all. But I will tell you that what is the key takeaway from me is this, that I strongly believe and seen over years that strong academic CGPA and limited backlogs and coming from a relevant undergraduate college and degree is going to be a real deal breaker for most of the students, okay, for their master's applications. The second one is you understand the criteria of the university in terms of the GRE scores if they're needed, and IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo if they accept, what is the clear cutoff that they are expecting, and the approximate CGPA in which they're expecting a student. So if you can clear them, I think you have a strong candidate to apply for it. Now work on your SOPs, LOR, show you, highlight your research projects if you have experience, highlight it, and you have a good chance to make it. So how much CGPA is required for top colleges, Vaishnavi? So that's again, vague on what is top. If you talk about Carnegie Mellon's, UT Austin's, the top 50 ranked universities in USA, let's say, I think anything above 8 is where you start looking and hoping that you have a good CGPA for it. 8.5, 8.7. But at that level, it's not just an absolute number of 8.5 is greater than 8.2 or 8.3. They look at your SOP, LOR, your projects, your resume. Here, they start looking at the quality of internships, quality of projects. What skill set have you really, highlighted, and you've proved that you can work on is going to be much more important. Let's say you're talking about Arizona State universities or UMBC, George Mason, which are in the top 150, top 100. 7.58 is where I would say are good. Let's say you're talking about North Texas or University of North Texas, which are in the top 250, 300 of US. They would expect you have 7, 7.3, 7.4. So it's hard to tell me what is top. But if you're talking about absolute top, I think anything above 8 as CGPA is a good starting point. Higher it is always good, but I think 7 versus 8.5 is not a big deal breaker unless you have really strong points to talk about in your research projects, right? And have good criteria in terms of GRE and IELTS, TOEFL, clear them. As long as you clear the cutoffs, you are in a good place to have a good chance for it. So GREs and English exams are more like gates that you have scored enough, then you will walk past the gate and now get evaluated for the next round. If you don't clear the cutoffs, irrespective of how good your other parts are, more or less, you will not be even evaluated, which is obviously a straight rejection for the students. If you're talking about Georgia Tech, I think you should ideally look for a CG of 8 plus, at least 8.5 plus. I think look for 325 plus sort of GRE. I'm assuming for computer science, I'm just saying it in that way. More or less for other pro course also, it will be in that range. Show the relevant experience, SOP, LORs from good professors with research background, etc. I think you can hope for it. At least you have 325 plus GRE. And obviously strong quant score and good AVA score, then obviously have that criteria of TOEFL and IELTS. What is it? It must be 7 plus for sure for Georgia Tech, 7.5 or 7 plus, 105, 110 plus for TOEFL. So look for it, and as long as you have it, you can hope for it and you can try for it. I cannot say that you will get it unless you really get a qualitative analysis of your profile in terms of research and other parameters. So I think you can still try it, but keep it as ambiguous. Don't try to put all your eggs in that basket of Georgia Tech is what I would say if you have 320. Maybe I'll get these questions later. So Balasri, I would also ask you to hold out till the end. You've been answering it, so I'll keep it so that I can discuss about your profile later. So how to improve your profile? So these are things that I've discussed partially. So some of you who are still studying, if you have a chance, do understand that CGPA is important. People start talking in movies and all. skills, you learn things, don't run after numbers and all. But a simple matter of fact, a realistic aspect of life is that your CGPA has its say in your profile evaluation from university side. 8 is always greater than 7 for them, right? They cannot assess your skill set from simple papers that you send to them for application. Yes, in life you can win with good skill set irrespective of bad CGPA. I have seen a lot of cases, I don't deny. But if possible, try to improve your CGPA, and if possible, avoid your backlog attempts. That is, you clear them right in the first stop so that you don't have 5, 10, 15 backlogs. Uh, if possible, try to enroll in audit courses, right? Like you have Coursera, Udacities, and MOOCs, which are offered by international top universities. So you can try doing them not just for the sake of certificate, but I'm genuinely saying if it can actually help you to learn relevant skill set and you can talk about and use it in your projects and sort of grow yourself, you can actually focus on adding relevant coursework, from doing online MOOCs and stuff like that. Uh, then exam scores, as I said, hard work on that part. Make sure you clear and get good scores, right? If I have 295 in GRE, obviously I cannot apply for certain universities which expects 305, 310. If I have, IELTS of 6, obviously you cannot apply even though your CGP and all of other things are good enough for UNT, but the cutoff is 6.5 or 7. You obviously cannot, apply for it because they'll straight away reject your profile with low exam scores, which is the cutoff for that university. So make sure you do not, at least I would say 6.5 and above in IELTS, 120 and above, at least 110 in Duolingo if you're taking TOEFL, 90 and above, right? GR, if you're writing, at least try for 305 and above, 310, 305. So these are some basic numbers that if you can try to, you'll have good list of top universities to look at. Again, as I said, research projects, if you still have time, focus on relevant research projects again. Try to apply to IISCs, IITs, or, even within your college, you might have professors who are known for research. They've published a lot of papers. Go ahead and talk to them if you're still in college. Obviously, these are all, I don't know the people that you are at the stage, you might be already out of college or still studying in it, and you might have time, you might not have time. Also, try to publish papers if you have time. That can also add your profile part. Right, and also internships and work experience. So people ask me, does work experience add a lot of value? So yeah, that's a question that I just okay. So I would say it's not a big deal breaker. I would say less than 5-10% of impact on your overall profile. I would say just because I have 5 years of experience, my bad CGPA or low GRE or low IELTS score will not be corrected. But if I have 7.5 and there's a candidate with 7.7 and my work ex is good, maybe you will be treated as fairly a good candidate compared with the 7.7 with no experience as well. But don't think that just with work experience you can solve all your problems. Again, relevant work experience. So what I always recommend people is that, see, you might have slightly weaker profile, but look at what kind of profiles universities you can get in. If you're happy, go ahead and do your masters, because working post your masters is going to help you to get better salaries, right? Working here for like a service company of 4-5 lakhs versus working there even in a very entry level position, you will get 40-50 lakhs. So it's going to be much more better that you invest your time in a foreign country with higher salary than spending your time here, assuming that your work experience will solve all the problems. Right? If you're not clear of what to do, maybe work experience is something a good option you can look at and try to figure out a relevant experience and do it. But working just for the sake of improving your profile for your higher education is not something that I would say. But for skill set, yes, I'm not going to deny that. Maybe working for 2 years or 1 year here is going to really help me to learn few things that I can apply in my masters and post masters. That is definitely there. But just for your chance of getting admits boosted up, I don't think it's worth putting that effort. Is what I've seen so far. A lot of cases that I've observed. Internships, again, quantity is not ultimate. Don't get 10 certificates, right? 1, 2, but top-notch ones where you really have done something, learned something, and you can highlight them in your resume, SOPs, and LORs. So how to identify suitable course specializations, right? So typically people ask for my profile. So before I show you a couple of points that I would insist on, so this is something I really like. I generally talk to people about this irrespective of whatever you want to do in life. This ikigai thing, I don't know how many of you have heard. It's a Japanese term, purpose of your life or something like that. So there are 4 circles that they talk about, which is things that you love to do, things that you're good at doing, what you can be paid for, right? And then what the world needs. So if you can find out a good sweet spot of all 4, overlapping, which is like you love to do a job and you're really good at it, and people are willing to pay for you, and there's a demand for it because world needs that particular thing. then obviously that's like being in that best place of the world, right? So maybe not for everyone it's gonna set, but that's something that I really say that start assessing your own, introspect yourself and see what you like to do and what you're really good at, right? What you're good at is not necessarily something you can always translate, right? I can draw, paintings well, but maybe the world doesn't need a lot of artists, and maybe you don't really that you can be paid for it heavily. So maybe you have to choose something else. Not that always that what you're good at is something that's going to pay you. But if you like to do it, maybe you can still go ahead and do it. That's all you call it passion. But if you're doing something which needs you to give money, because people only pay you money when there's a huge demand for that particular job or the particular role. And if you're really good at doing it and you really love to do it, it's like the best of the world that you can get. So just talking about it briefly, I would say what you can be paid for and what the world needs is going to be identified if you look at the prospects of the job, right? Which roles or the job roles have huge number of jobs? What is the average salary offered? I would say computer science is in demand across the world, and in that specifically, if you can be AI or a machine learning engineer, you have huge demand. If you can deal with data at a business analytics level or a data scientist level, you have huge demand for it. So obviously there's a demand for it and a huge salary being paid. So doesn't mean everyone has to go for it, because the other aspect, as I'm telling you, is what is your profile? What have you done in your undergraduate? What are your skill sets and what are your interests? I don't like to do coding. Just because people are paying salary for coding doesn't mean everyone has to jump at coding, right? Also, maybe I'm good with numbers and I can actually deal with basic amount of coding. Maybe analytics suits me better. Maybe I'm good with dealing with people. Maybe I can look at management subjects, right? So you have to get what you're good with and see that good fit of where are the jobs available. Because I'm good at something and no one is willing to pay, going all the way to a foreign university, pursuing the degree, having a huge debt on your head and not getting a suitable job is not worth of all the risks that you take. So try to do a bit of research on this, so that as in the job prospects aspect and what's your job, your profile and skill set that you have. So I'll show you a couple of features that we have, which I think can help you do a little bit of research on this. Right, if you go to Ubergrad, let's say this is about, if you come here, you will see this 6-step process of relief that we have. So click on the first step. So you will see something like explore the popular graduate course, and there's something called get course recommendations. You click on this, it's going to ask you what exactly have you done in your bachelor's. Let's say I've done mechanical engineering. Okay. So I tell you, you can try the direct mech to mech sort of a transition is you try mechanical engineering masters or mechatronics or industrial engineering or engineering management. These are sort of manager positions in a mechanical setup, and these two are more core engineering subjects. But you can also try it analytics, information systems, right? You can try business data analytics, MBA. You can also try computer science, software engineering. So these are the probable routes you can look at, right? Let's say I've done electrical engineering or electrical and communication engineering, right? So you will find, so this is something that we've already put so that you can actually go ahead and explore further to understand what are the options I have, right, based on what I've done. Now, obviously, you also have to understand what are the things that I am comfortable with. Just because analytics is in demand, you don't like to do basic statistics, p-test, t-test, basic regression or correlations. You don't like to deal with numbers, crunching numbers, then obviously you'll absolutely hate it. Joining it is going to make you really struggle with it. Maybe you don't like to do coding, then maybe you can do information systems, which is like being a project manager or a data manager, which is an IT domain, but you don't have to code. So you have to understand the curriculum. Engineering management is an option for people who are engineers but are looking at management. There's a new hybrid course which is specifically like you'll have HR, finance, marketing, strategy, ops, operations in it, but it is keeping people of engineering background in mind, so that your job should also be posted as a project manager, operations manager, supply chain manager in manufacturing or IT domain. So you have to go through and understand so that you can really explore it. You can also go to or explore and see the courses, all courses. You can comfortably go like, okay, business analytics. Okay, what are the types of masters I can do in it? About each country, you can go ahead and read about it. What are the requirements and what are the salaries that you can get, the job roles you can get, right? And top companies that hire and top universities that offer. You have a lot more that you can do. In this, if you just go to explore, this is something you can do in one place. You have almost 40 master degrees that you've written, 35, I think. Yeah, you can go ahead and read about things that might be relevant for you to understand further and explore it. right? So that's something that I'll talk about, the course specialization part. Then about how to find and shortlist top universities that fit your profile. This is the key question that, what we wanted to discuss in this webinar. So once you understand what is your profile about and what type of courses you are interested to do your masters in, the next point is that obviously choosing the top universities that fit your profile. See, the challenge is everyone might start looking at MITs, Harvards, right? Or UC Berkeley's, Caltech, Georgia Tech, Carnegie Mellon's, UT Austin's. But the reality is only top 5-10% of people can get in there. The rest all have to go for next step. Like how in India everyone wants to get into IIT while doing undergraduation or IIMs in MBA, but not everyone can get in, right? So doesn't mean the life ends there or career ends there. People have done wonders from not being there and done in some other colleges. It's about taking your best possible next step so that you grow yourself and do the best within your own conditions, right? So the challenge of going for this finding universities is because USA has thousands of universities, UK has hundreds, Canada also has hundreds of universities and colleges. So the challenge for people is I cannot apply for all because each application would cost me 5K, 10K. So now I only have an option to generally choose a limited set. And now choosing all Harvard, Stanford's, Carnegie's and UC Berkeley's, getting rejected from all will leave you in no place. You will waste some time, like an intake, 6 months to 9 months, wasted a lot of money. Now you have to retry for something else. So the ideal thing is for you to understand what type of university I can look at for my profile. So again, I would show you something that we have built. It's a data-backed algorithm that we have built. So you can go to Ubergrad. You have the search by homepage. I can do by exam scores or courses. Let's say I want to go to United States. And I want to do, someone said business analytics or data analytics, right? And let's say my GR is 300. If you have not taken, or if you are planning to take, you can give an estimated score. Or if you are planning to go without, GRE, you can just first enter like 315 or something to start off with. IELTS, Duolingo, TOEFL score, for example. Then I can say whatever is my CGPA, 75% are out of 10. Now I click search on it. This is where I'll get the universities that I can look at. Now, what courses can I look at? You can also read here. You can also try to filter with the fees. I want to go for public universities, where I want to go for only particular states in USA, right? On the East Coast or on the West side, California, Texas, South side, whatever you can do that way. Or within, I don't want to go with GRE. So let me do waived, whichever programs are not asking for GRE, right? Or whichever accepts Duolingo. Someone was asking 3-year degrees, you can go ahead and select it, right? And STEM programs are free applications for them, right? So all of these things we have given in filters here, you can go ahead and further do it. And you can also go ahead and read on this. So typically we believe that things that you need to understand is this. Number one, what is the ranking of an university? How good is this university is more or less communicated by the ranks. Globally and nationally, we have picked up from the top ranking agencies across the world: US News, QS Rankings, Times Higher Education, Shanghai Ranking, right, Forbes, and Wall Street Journal. So this helps you to understand the quality of university. Then an approximate sense of what is the fees and the scholarships and application fee. You can now go deeper into the courses. Okay, let's say I want to do, as I said, analytics is what I want to do. I click on this, which I've already opened here. So you'll also see if there's a departmental ranking for it, you'll find it here. What is the GRE? If there is a requirement, what is the minimum score? If they have already mentioned, what is the TOEFL minimum score? What is the IELTS minimum score? What's the tuition fee? What's the deadline? So there are priority deadlines. If you apply by priority deadlines, you have a good chance of getting scholarship. Not that everyone will get, but that's a good deadline for you to have a very good chance at getting a scholarship if you apply beforehand. So then do they accept 3 years, right? Is STEM program, is it a STEM program or not? So is it a vest required? Yes, you have to pay and get the vest done. So all of this information that people need, and you can do that research to understand whether you want to go ahead with it or not. Or let's say you just want to identify that what universities are all there for me to go for United States and computer science or data science, right? You'll get right from the top, MIT, Stanford, as I said, but not everyone can get in there. Or maybe I only want to see a fees of 30 lakhs. You'll start getting universities which have a limited fee, right? So that's what you can play with it. With all of this that we have readily put up with the data algorithm that we've built, you can do. So on top of it, if you actually upgrade to silver, you can upgrade to silver, which is worth 1500. We have a coupon that we're sharing that you can get to free if you're not silver by now. You can go to my universities. There's something called You Should Pro, which is even more advanced algorithm that you have built, which is going to ask you almost almost 40 parameters, like what is your undergraduate college, university, what degree did you do, is it a 4-year or 3-year degree, what's your CGPA, backlogs, anything on your projects, experience, your study plans, and what degree, what specializations you're interested, which countries are you planning for, and what are your exam scores. Because some universities would expect a minimum score for quant, verbal, AVA, or minimum sectional scores also. I have 100 in TOEFL, but my speaking is 18. So people, you have to realize that not everything is understood by that 6 questions we asked. So you can go ahead, update it and click on it, and you will get recommendations also. So that's YouSure Pro, which is open for silver and above. So our team can help you to upgrade to silver also. The filters that I was showing is also open for silver people, but yes, you can around play with all of this to do your further refinement. So this is a good place for you that we put a lot of information that you can actually do your research without looking at 10 places. Obviously, we have done with the team of data team that we hold who goes to the university websites, keep doing the research and keep updating the data. Obviously, the primary source is always the university websites. You can also go further and read there. But now the challenge, as I'm telling you, is about how do I find what universities are fitting for my profile. This algorithm that we've built are going to give you an unbiased thing. We clearly write whether it's a partnered or non-partnered university also for us. So there's no, like, these are not partnered for us. This is a partnered university. We clearly keep it open and unbiased. So people can, openly check through the data-backed algorithms and get and have a clarity on what kind of universities can they look at. Now do your further research and then finalize a good set of 6 to 8. That is something that I'm going to talk next. Why do you have to only choose 6 to 8? Typically, as I was telling you, the cost of applying is what is going to make you not to apply for hundreds of universities, right? So it's about choosing the best 6 to 8. So how do I decide? As I said, look at the rankings, because everyone can have their own opinion on it. Rankings are built on strong fundamental parameters like the job opportunities, right? How good are the people placed after graduating there? The diversity of the students, the location of the university, the size of university, the history of the university, the professor's research background, the research investment that is put up into university by companies, right? So research grants and all of that. And a lot of these things would give you a summarized simple number. What is the rank of the university? So I wouldn't say you can put at it 100%, but I would say strong parameter to look at is university rank. The next part is again department ranking. How does it matter? See, university of, let's say I'm talking about a university like UC Berkeley is not top 10 ranked, for example, but it's ranked almost in top 5 for computer science. So there are few universities which are not ranked in top 50, top 100 at a national, global level or national level for all the departments together, but they're very well known. For John Hopkins is very much known for medical domain, right? So you will find some universities which are known for certain domains, and department rankings are going to help you understand that. Public versus private. Obviously, I would suggest that if you can get into two similar universities which are ranked almost same, one is private, one is public, I would generally look at public as a better option. Obviously, Harvard, Stanford, Yale, and all of that are privates. That's why they are at the top. I'm not denying. But public universities obviously give you a good chance of getting visa, having a limited fee, which is not going to be a huge headache on top of your loans that you're taking, etc. So you have to also look at this and decide what sort of things that you are more comfortable with. Obviously, tuition fee. If Stevens has 70 lakhs as its tuition fee, not everyone can afford it, be it even by taking loan or by own money. So you have to eliminate few universities, though they are ranked in top 100, you can get in there, but tuition fee is very high. So look for your tuition fee budget and choose the university. The location. For USA, for example, if you are trying to do your master's, I would fundamentally recommend if you can get in California, Texas, New York, New Jersey, which are the hubs for the jobs, right? So it's better that, let's say in India, you are studying your degree in Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay, right, Hyderabad, which is where you have jobs, lot of jobs. So fundamentally, you don't have to move to places, look for internships and jobs from there, and you get more opportunities. Like in UK, being in London is always better than being in Manchester, for example, right? Which are not the big cities. They are cities, they have jobs, but not as good as London, for example. The location also matters in you when you choose it. Maybe some of you might have some personal preferences also. So that again, you can choose on that. Scholarships and aids, like can I get scholarship here? Do they give me good scholarships? So you can also choose universities which are a little bit more open towards giving scholarships or financial aids or campus jobs, assistantships in USA, for example. And finally, the internships and job opportunities post-graduation, right? Who will give us better opportunities? Again, it's sort of taxed with the location that you are doing and the ranking of the university. Higher the ranking and better the location, you have more opportunities that you don't have to worry about for looking for a job. So from all of these factors, I would typically say up to split the universities you have into 3 categories. I will apply for 1 to 2 ambitious universities, which I think are less than 10-15% chance or less than 20% chance. But just I want to give it a shot, hopefully. to see if my luck can help me out, or maybe I've misassessed something and people are appreciating something better. But make sure you apply a good chunk of best fit universities, which are the moderator. You have a more than 50-60% chance that you can get in there. Always to be on the safer side, keep 1 to 2 on safe side. Even in a very unlikely scenario, you will have some admits from the safe universities. So you can take a call whether you want to wait for one more intake by chance if you had misjudgment, or maybe you're okay with it, you'll go ahead and do your masters. So the good split of how to apply to 6 to 8 is have this split into 3 categories, and accordingly go ahead and apply for the universities and hope for the best. Right. So that's about my side. Right. About what I actually wanted to talk about and what I wanted to discuss on. So I'm open for Q&A. So I think some of the questions were already there, so I would really go through one by one. So if by chance I don't answer your questions in a while, please keep reposting it. I'll make sure I'll answer all of them, but don't spam it for a while. Just wait for it. Right. So just to wrap up before I come back to the Q&A, like we have partnered with more than 1,000 students and helped more than 75,000 students, right? And these are some of our success stories in top like world ranked universities, where we have sent like these many students, like ASU 30 plus students, and in US, UK, Canada, USA, like quite a few students that have been sending over years, and this is what our rating and social media is also. Great. So now the questions, right? So maybe Balasi, if you are there, you can still ask me questions. I would be happy to answer. So let me get there. In which field, sir, is you in Eugene? So Humayt, sorry, I can't get your question. Maybe you can frame it better for me. Will application open date will also be informed? So if you are asking about us, so ideally, if you have decided well in advance and if you are one of our premium member, we would keep updating the students that applications are open for universities. But in our website, we only talked about the deadlines, right? So we have a fair estimate idea of based on intake when is the university open its applications, but it doesn't always have any open date, fixed open date by universities. Typically, universities would do it based on a lot of external factors. But ideally, we have a rough estimate. So based on the universities you're looking at, let's say if you're looking for top universities in US, like Georgia Tech, ideally the deadline should be the December Jan first week. They should keep it open from September, October, right? If you have everything for your application ready, you just have to look at it and start applying for it. Can I apply for MBA without GMAT, GRE? Rutvik, absolutely yes. That's what I'm saying. You have the GRE waiver option in our filters also. Since COVID, I'm starting to see a good number of universities have waived off that. And the trend is that it is shrinking. That universities are slowly starting to ask again and again. I mean, they're getting back to ask GRE as a mandatory thing. But I think there are fairly 30 to 40% of universities in USA which are still not asking GRE as a mandatory thing, even for MBA. You can absolutely find universities which are not asking for GRE, but you need to clear your English exam, and then with your profile, you can look for the relevant courses and start applying for it. Okay. So Sheikh, you're saying in dashboard, some universities show GPA required, JR required, some have GPA 3.2 and JR 3.2. What is the meaning of required? So Sheikh, for sure, the problem is that not every university explicitly mentions what is the minimum score they need. So they would say, I need GRE. That's it. That's where they stop. So we are not putting, so that's where we write it's required, and we are not putting any number because we cannot commit. So see, for example, there's a university, Arizona State University, right? You don't find them writing 315 is required by a student in their website anyway. They would say, I need a GRE score. But we know from a lot of admins and our partnership with them, sort of they have sent some mails to us asking what kind of profiles they look for. We got a sense that 315 is a fair score for you to look for computer science. So these things we cannot put in our website, but our algorithms that are designed at the back of it, Usure Pro especially, can actually give you a refined list for that. So when we say required but not putting a number for GPA or GRE, GMAT, that's because universities don't explicitly write what is the minimum score. Rather, they would just say it's required, like it's required to be applied with. So we don't write any numbers. That's what they mean. If they do write, we put it in our website. Without GRE, there's a chance to admit. Banu, for example, I'll tell you, ASU has computer science, software engineering, and information technology. For IT, you don't need GRE. They have waived GRE. So with a lower profile, a lot of people do get into IT. So if you are okay with it, like people have their opinions. Personally, if you ask me, unless you have a strong reason to choose computer science, you should be open for software engineering and information technology as well. You can go through the course curriculum and see the subjects we are offering. And if you are okay with it, IT, for example, doesn't ask for GRE, you can apply for it. That's something that you can try. But with computer science, without GRE, I don't think. I mean, you'll not have a chance to get an admit from ASU in computer science without GRE. Information systems and management. So, Maurya, I think it's hardly a different thing. I mean, I would call both of them being same. Information systems and management, information systems. Typically, the courses, if you go through the course curriculum, right, you'll understand that more better. But ideally, both of them are same. If you see course curriculum mentioning things like, project management, operations, optimization, operations research, if they talk about ERP systems and, risk management, all of these type of courses in the curriculum, they're properly not coding subjects. They are for people who wants to be in IT domain, understand the technology and work on these courses to be a manager. That is what information systems or management information systems do. Some universities call it technology management, masters in technology management and stuff like that. They have their own fancy names, but unless the curriculum starts talking about programming languages or architecture, computer architecture, or design principles or data structures, that's something to do with IT and more of computer science. But otherwise, there's not much of a difference between information systems and management information systems, MIS. STEM systems. Okay, if management information systems mean, do we need write GRE? Not really, Moria. Again, it's a lot of STEM courses haven't put GRE GMAT mandatory now in US. As I said, 40 to 50%, you still have courses which don't ask for GRE in USA. For other countries, so obviously, it's not really a requirement since long time. Okay. As what I said, Banu, so for Duolingo 130, for IT, yes, you can absolutely try for it. CGPA, I don't know, anything above 7, I think you should have a good chance, or at least 7. But GRE is waived for that course, but not for CS or software engineering, where you need GRE score for ASU. For fall intake, I went for interview for UNT and I completed my undergraduate in 21 August. I have a gap with 10 months, so I kept that. I learned Java. But I'm assuming, Balfi, you're talking about visa rejection. You went with an admit from UNT and your visa got rejected. I'm assuming so because UNT doesn't have any interview as far as I know. But this, it's part of, I don't know why visa officers reject few people. I cannot comment purely on basis of this. You have, okay, DS 160, so that they rejected, sir. See, ideally, if you have done some coursework and you have certificates, a lot of people have got visas, even for our students, like similar profile of yours. It's just part of the random luck. Okay, I would never deny that you have some problem just based on what you've written. I mean, I wouldn't say that you have a problem based on what you've written. With just a 10-month gap, it's not a deal breaker. Universities, sorry, visa officers do ask about it, but I think quite a few students have cleared about internships or projects they've done, coursework they've done, certifications they do have, they show it, and they sort of get through that. But some officers at that particular time could be specific and could reject you, or could be just that you know instance, right? 5-10% of luck is always there. I wouldn't deny that. So I don't have an answer, but I can assure you that a lot of students, even with us, who have been for this fall 23, there are people with a lot of gaps, like 6 months, 12, 10 months, and they absolutely had no problem. But I would suggest everyone, if you by chance are waiting and have a gap with no work ex, at least try to get some experience letters. I mean, I'm not saying fake. Please don't get that. I'm saying actually work and get experience. Don't treat that way of getting fake, because if you know that recently 21 people are deported and a lot of things happening, never ever try to fake it, right? Even if you don't have, at least do some online certifications, put it. And if you clear with that, it's better that you go and do it. Never try to scam, consolation, think you are being smart, but I tell you that you will get caught. Or if you get caught, I know a lot of people might have cleared it, but it's going to be really a heartbreaking thing and really affect you for a long time in terms of your journey. Better that you try to do some certification courses, get some internships if possible, so that you can actually put up that gap. Don't try to keep it a gap. Please try to fill it with something, at least some certifications work you do, and you say you're learning and you're preparing for GRE, this IELTS, Duolingo, and applying for universities. Keep something and hope that they would approve it. But yes, I have seen cases, but I wouldn't say something else could be done for that. It is what it is. Majority would get approved if you answer it well. Sometimes it's just bad luck. But now if you're saying what should I do for next time, at least try to don't try to get some experience for past, try to get some experience from now. Try to improve if you have any skill set, and hope for the best for the next visa interview. That's the only thing I can tell you. Ritik, you will get that shared by tomorrow, this webinar thing, whichever is recorded. EC department 9.3 CG, I want to do masters in CS, but in my undergraduate I haven't done any projects in CS. I have only done core project, published papers also. So Esther Rani, if you say some courses suggestion, as I said, if you are from EC department and you're open to get into IT domain, maybe you can relax on the computer science masters, look for software engineering and IT. People do take. I have seen like hundreds of or thousands of students who are from the EC background or triple background, haven't done anything in computer science so far. Go ahead and apply for it. But if you say top universities, then definitely they wouldn't be very comfortable in taking in. So what can I do for it? So as you said, courses, I'm assuming you're talking about online courses, but just try to work on some, computer science subjects, right? Could be on the basic data structures and algorithms, right? Database management systems. This is what the universities would write also, that this is something I expect in your transcripts. If you don't have it, either I would not accept you or I would accept you. Everything else is good, but you need to do this extra course once you come there. So quite a few top universities in USA offer Coursera, Udacity certification courses where you can, try to do the data success algorithms, object-oriented programming, right, database management systems, sort of the basic core in computer science subjects. So you can add in your certifications and try with your luck, right? Like there's no fixed answer for it, but at least that's something you can do. But I can assure you, you can get into good universities from EC background or triple background also into computer science, but it's just that you have to get other parameters in place and see which universities are not being very strict with the computer science undergraduation, and try for your best and get in there. But you can get in it. There's no doubt about that. I saw a course on industrial engineering concentration on data analytics. So I'm assuming, Hare Krishna, you're saying, I'm not sure, just let me correct. Is it that MS in industrial engineering with a concentration of data analytics, or MS in data analytics with a concentration in industrial engineering? I'm assuming you're talking about MS in industrial engineering with a concentration of data analytics. So industrial engineering is keeping all your focus on manufacturing domain, okay? Like imagine that the productions that happen, like all the raw material has been sourced and then they manufacture and they produce it and then they store it in inventory and then they sell it off to dealers or whatever. So typically there's a huge amount of analytics involved there to forecast the demand, forecast the inventory, how should you produce and all. So that's where maybe they are focusing on. So if you are okay to work in that domain and learn analytics, it's a good choice. But if you want to go for some other domains, right, then obviously look at the course curriculum also and see what are the difference, right? If 70-80% of your course curriculum is same as what you do in normal analytics and this particular thing, I think you don't have to worry about it and go ahead and take it. See, which ASU level university accept only Duolingo score? Yes, you do can try with 7.5 Banu. George Mason University, for example, right? They do accept Duolingo and they do, I think you have a good chance with 7.43 also. So that's slightly lower than that, but you can find quite a few other universities like NGIT is also ranked, but not really on par with ASU, I would say. But you can look for few more. Like if you go to our website and just keep entering your scores and enter 315 in GRE, you will start getting from ASU to others. Just select the waivers, GRE waivers, Duolingo acceptance. You will find the relevant ones within our website. But yes, you can easily get in with 7.5 and 130. Quite a few good universities, without GRE. That is something I can definitely tell you. Like as I said, George Mason or NGITs, and I cannot think of UMBC used to have waiver, but I'm not sure for this coming intake if they're waiver or not. That also 7.5 is not a bad CG to try for UMBC also. Do we need coding knowledge to pursue business analytics aspirations? I would say it's not going to be as hardcore as what you see in computer science, but Python or R is something, and a basic SQL, that database SQL language is what you would be learned or you would be taught in the course, and you should be comfortable with it. It won't be as hardcore as what you see in other, but I would be lying if I say that you don't need coding at all. It has definitely an impact of mathematics and coding in your analytics course for sure. So if you can manage partially, it is doable. I'm not saying it's hard, but don't, if you absolutely hate it, then analytics is not devoid of coding. It does have a basic amount of coding for sure. 2 years, space, 9 backlogs, so course, and industry in concentration on data analytics, which I don't know, preferred on study and work, whether I can get it or not. From us. That's why I said, Hare Krishna, look at the curriculum and then I think you take a call. Compare with the hardcore data analytics course, which would be probability and statistics, basic Python and R, basic data structures and stuff like that. If that is very similar to what they're offering, then absolutely go ahead with it. Names doesn't matter after a point if the course curriculum is matching. You can go to the website and you will find what courses and concentrations you can do each semester. They will clearly mention it. Yes, Maurya, I think with what you've mentioned in terms of experience, it makes sense that you go for information systems. As I said, you've dealt with management and technical stuff. I think that's a good transition to go for, and you have a good, story in terms of your SOPs and LORs to also build on top of it and try for it. I think it makes a lot more sense for you to look at MIS. 6 to 7 years experience cause any problem for you, Moria? I wouldn't say that would be a problem. Universities are comfortable with it. They do give you an admit. Some universities might not, but if you apply to fixed rate, as I said, you should have fairly good admits that you can choose from. But what I've heard in the few last intake, right? I'm not 100% going to say it's true. There is something like a basic feel that we get from people in the industry that the embassies are a little bit. The US embassy I'm talking about is a little bit not very positive about people with a huge work experience. Maybe it's their fear of being an immigrant rather than being a student. There have been some case of rejections that we have seen with some heavy experience. Admits, I can assure you will get it in good universities, assuming all of the other parameters are in place for you. But visa is something no one can predict. Okay, for USA, I think it's all like part of the game. You must be lucky to get in there. Great, Banu. Thanks a lot. What is the specialization CS? So Vaishnav, I think CS itself, you have general computer science, which would do all the basic subjects. Then obviously the concentrations or specializations would talk about data science, AI, ML. You talk about cyber security. Right? These are typically what are the specializations you see. As some people stick with general computer science itself. So there is no best in that way. If you ask me, you want to be a developer, become a full stack developer. You like to do that coding. You want to learn the JavaScript, right? To deal with the backend, front end, Reactor, the Angular, try for Python, JavaScript, Node.js, and stuff. It's up to you. So that's one aspect you can look at. Or you can go into the database, big data stuff. Or you can get into something like data science, which is AI ML part, which is the buzz now, and you can really do wonders. It's hard stuff, but if you really enjoy it, I think it's nothing wrong in looking at that. Cybersecurity is also picking up in the recent times, and it's going to be a big thing in the next decade for sure. So I don't have a specific consideration for anyone. It's your choice. Look at what things that you most enjoy. Or if you're not very sure, I think the best thing is go ahead and start with general computer science. After a year, you have electives as options that you can choose what type of concentration you want to do. Not every university would ask you to choose a concentration or specialization right at the start of application. A lot of them keep it open for you. You can comfortably join and then take your time to understand and take a call once you really get a feel of what these things are in more detail. Okay, the last one. Sunny Buffalo. Hi, Krishnan. So I didn't see that. Sorry for that. 7.85 CG towards of experience analytics, 9 back. I think Hari Krishnan, 9 backlogs is a big problem, I would say. I don't know the exact number for the backlogs if Sunny Buffalo, but I think that can have an impact on your profile. CG 7.85, I wouldn't say you have great CG. At the same time, I wouldn't say bad CG. That should be decent enough to hope at least have it in the ambition section. Experience in data analytics is also fine, and you don't want to take GRE. So basically, if you say that I don't need English exam score, as long as you clear it, I think you can try. But backlogs is the only constraint for me in this entire aspect that you're talking about. But I think you can keep it in your ambitious section and try it and see the result, and let's hope for the best. I wouldn't say it's like a long shot. It's fairly a good shot, but only backlogs is something that I'm not very comfortable with. That's something I think is going to be a deterrent for you. Otherwise, I think you're having a good aspects in your profile to hope for it at that level of university you're talking about. Right. Great, guys. Then I think that's it from my side. I'm going to end this session. Thanks a lot for being there. So I hope Supriya is here, so you can take over if you need to add anything, Supriya. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. I hope you had a great webinar. And if you